Before we get into the video, I need you guys to do me a favour. Number 1, like the video. Also comment, let me know your thoughts on the case. Glasgow's Mark Clinton is often regarded as feared, brutal and bat-ish crazy. The 48-year-old has spent a good majority of his life in prison in HMP Borough for insatiable knack of arming himself with a blade and causing mayhem on the grey streets of Glasgow and further afield. However, according to Mark's friends, Mark was a person who did not know what fear was. He did not know it wasn't normal to open up someone's stomach. He did not know it wasn't normal to stab someone 5 times just because they had been rude to his dad. Now, Mark Clinton did not need an army behind him. He was a passionate Celtic supporter, but his anger was heightened by alcohol and drugs. Growing up in the Calton area of Glasgow meant that there was gear sold by crime families on every street. Families like the Hughes and the Foxes were supplying everyone in that area. It meant you had to grow up tough. Now, Mark Clinton was linked to the Glasgow enforcer Paul Ferris, who worked closely with Arthur Thompson. Now, the reason why Mark Clinton was so feared was because he was absolutely transparent, and he was also blasé and normalised his way of life. He would often move from safe house to safe house to safe house whenever he thought that his life was in danger. Now, according to Scottish men and women who had the experience of meeting Mark Clinton, you had no choice but to fear a person that makes 2 statements. The first statement being F the coppers, and the second statement being stabbing someone was the easiest thing to do. Now, according to police, that they believe that Mark Clinton was responsible or at least played a part in between 4 to 5 M's in the last two-year span. Now, Mark Clinton was so feared that it was alleged that he had M'd a known rival, that person being Billy McPhee. Police called it a gangland execution that met the trademark brutality of only one person, Mark Clinton. The Springcroft pub in Balliston was packed with mums and dads and children's. On the television, Scotland were playing Wales in the rugby. Now, while drinks were sloshing and children were running rampant, an unnamed person entered the pub at 5 p.m. He was wearing jeans and also a grey hoodie. Now, he had marched right over to Billy McPhee, who was sat on the stool watching the television screen, his back to everybody else. Now, Billy was stabbed more than a dozen times, right where he sat on the bench. The unnamed person then just waltzed out of the pub as if it was the most simple thing to do. Nobody stopped him. Again, remember, the pub was packed with Billy McPhee's friends, other gangsters, mums, dads, children's. No one said a word. Now, Billy McPhee was rushed to hospital but was soon pronounced dead. Just 5 weeks later, Mark Clinton was charged with the M. Now, Mark went on trial in April of 2004, but on the day the trial was due to start, 2 witnesses, one being David Hart, another being Henry Carey, one of the witnesses recanted their statement and says that they must have made a mistake. They had not seen Mark Clinton there, and that resulted in the trial collapsing, and Mark was a free man. Now, in a documentary, Mark Clinton also admitted that he had a short fuse and admitted that he had stabbed a person 5 times and then drew a mark across their face for being cheeky to his dad. He had also opened someone's stomach up. Now, referring to the M of Billy McPhee, Mark Clinton went on camera and says that he could be one of 3 people that committed the brutal M. But what does it say about a person who walks into a pub by yourself, march up to the alleged rival and then stab him a dozen times in front of his pals and then walk freely away without any consequences? Now, regardless what anybody thought, Mark Clinton was a smart person. He was a realist. Now, he knew that his gangster lifestyle meant that he was a marked man. Anything that he did to someone could do it to him, so it was normal to change his routine and move location every 2 nights. He also lived by the motto, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. Now, during the fleeting moments when Mark Clinton was not in jail, he had attempted to reinvent himself, from gangster to security consultant. However, he was jailed for 7 months when he was found to be driving while banned after he was attempted to pay Jason Dixon a visit, that being the son of dealer Vinnie Dixon. At the time, Mark Clinton was only 35 years old, Now, according to Mark, he had secured contracts for Jason Dixon's security company and they were making a lot of money. But when it came time to pay Mark, Jason did not. Now, police allegedly warned Mark after he was stopped from driving and arrested and then went to court. If anything happens to Jason, police will immediately suspect that Mark Clinton did it because at the end of the day, he was a gangster and everybody knew what Mark was capable of. Now, Mark Clinton was also jailed for 6 years in December of 2005 after, again, he was caught carrying a blade and then promising that he would all workers on site. Ultimately, gangster Mark Clinton would be found dead in a flat in Paisley. Thankfully, there was no alleged suspicious activity in the way that he died. Now, one thing you have to say about Mark Clinton is he lived a life the way he wanted. Condolences. Stay safe.